Hello, everyone. Hopefully, this thing's going to get a little lighter. This is Cleo Monago here in my office. I've been getting all kinds of reactions and responses to the revelations or reports coming out about Jussie and if he's lying or not. It's pretty amazing, this whole thing. And people have been asking me for the past, well, let's go back a little bit in terms of my relationship to this whole thing on a public level. The day after Jussie's report, I was on the Roland Martin Unfiltered show, and we talked about it. And another brother named Malik Abdul, who's a Republican, was on the show, and another sister who, unfortunately, right now, I don't remember who that was, also came on at the show. And the Republican dude immediately said that there's no way that this is true. And I debated him a little bit. This was the day after the incident that Smollett reported. And he and I went back just a little bit on Roland's show. I was never adamant about that he probably is telling the truth. I just did what I usually do, which is being very theoretical and coming up with a theory. My theory was that, and my experience has been, that the only kind of people who make up lies like that are people who want to be seen, people who are in need of attention, people who are seeking some type of profile from anybody they can get it from. They make up drastic stories like this. So being that Mr. Smollett already has fame and fortune, I've never watched Empire, so I don't know what's going on there, but I've heard the name. He and I got an award simultaneously last year, and we were both in the same spot. I didn't get a chance to meet him because I'm not a celebrity chaser, and I didn't see any reason to become one that day. So I didn't really speak to the brother, but he was in the same space as I, both of us getting an award from an organization called the Gentlemen's Foundation in Atlanta. But anyway, since then, there's been no substance that we have seen other than speculation and circumstance to prove that anything has occurred. All we had was what Smollett said, and as you all probably know by now, he said he was the gay Tupac at his concert, his first concert after the event. But a lot of people have been naysayers, and I had a hard time saying it was a lie because of our own theories about it, not knowing the brother, having only heard good things about him. But it appears that he may have stretched the truth, to say the least. One of my friends said that humans make mistakes, and it's a mistake. Because my perspective, that calling what Jussie Smollett is accused of a mistake is like calling Donald Trump's wall exterior decorating. It's much bigger than a mistake. If indeed it's true that it's untrue what he's reported, he can be charged with a felony, a class 4 felony, because it's illegal to give a false police report. And of course, his career would be completely over. And frankly, the Trumpettes, if you will, the people who are behind MAGA, will be emboldened and empowered by this. And any future claims of police brutality and hate crimes toward black people will be considered maybe the sky is falling routine and not to be trusted. So this is pretty serious. But at the same time, the Chicago Police Department cannot be trusted. The investigation of such a crime was put in the hand of criminals to investigate. And it's difficult to know what's really going on because, for example, as we all know, Laquan McDonald was shot and killed by Chicago police. They hid the evidence, and finally it was brought into the surface that that evidence existed. We all saw it and saw that he was murdered. And as a result of that situation, his killer has gotten a very short prison sentence. And somebody has already beat him up. So we'll see if he indeed himself gets a Laquan McDonald treatment while in prison. But getting back to the heavy nuances of the Jussie Smollett situation, what do you think? I see many of you are jumped aboard and are leaving comments. What do you say? I'm sideways here. It says this will go down. Yeah, you're right, Ben. Ben Oguji just said that this would go down as fake news history. And this is true. I mean, if indeed Jussie Smollett made this up, It doesn't just affect him. It affects us. This is a Christmas gift, a late Christmas gift to the Trump administration and the MAGA movement, Making America Great Again movement, if indeed this is not true. Now let's look at what we know so far. Today, earlier, they had these two Nigerian men who are apparently brothers, who apparently have some connection to the Empire set, who were two people walking around that night apparently, who have since been interviewed by police and let go. But the other part of this is that supposedly now that they've been let go, and I guess this was part of the deal, they had fully cooperate with the police to uncover the elements of Jussie Smollett's story. So with the Nigerian brothers cooperating with the police, it's real murky. However, the police is not being exact either right now. Everything is still put in the category of alleged. So we don't know. But a lot of people that I know, including people who I respect very much, like Letitia Sampson, a therapist out of New Jersey, said she never believed it. And I don't know what to believe. I don't know Jussie enough or follow him enough to have a clear assessment of his personality. Everything that I know about him is based on hearsay. I've never been in his presence in terms of actually spending time there and actually engaging him. I've never seen Empire or seen him on Empire in my life. So I don't have a lot to go on. But I do understand why people would see this story as suspect. It is quite suspect. But the reason I came online to discuss it with you is because, as you might imagine, my social media and my email box is blowing up. And another thing that's interesting that I'm going to have to, if indeed this is not true, deal with is Malik Abdul, a black Republican, so-called conservative, who I often disagree with, who, as I said earlier, tried to counter the idea of Jussie Smollett telling the truth day one. And he will be apparently correct, and I'm sure he will not let me live that down, though I'm not responsible for Jussie Smollett's behavior. But this is interesting, but it's scary. My biggest concern is that white supremacists are always looking for a way, an angle in which to continue what they do and to not have to think twice about their emboldened racism, white supremacist, white control, and nationalist agenda. And frankly, if Jussie Smollett indeed made this up, he has put a feather in Donald Trump's camp. Now, some are talking about the fact that Empire is owned by Fox. Empire is owned by, I forgot his name now, but it's owned by a multi-billionaire, racist, white supremacist man who's out of Britain. Rupert Murdoch, that's his name, owns Fox. There's some people's perspective that Rupert Murdoch was behind Nate Parker's controversy with the film Birth of a Nation. This is the theory, and frankly, I'll admit is one that I think has a lot of truth to it in terms of the possibilities here. Rupert Murdoch was in court in Britain for unprincipled media use and for spying on people and using his media empire to spy on people and to get people's background information and use it against them. He was charged with that as a crime in Britain. This multi-billionaire Murdoch, Rupert Murdoch, owner of Fox, who has this huge media machine behind him to do exactly what he wants to do. So this is the theory. The theory is that he heard about Birth of a Nation film, a film about Nat Turner, a real-life revolutionary who was murdered, but who fought against the enslavement of black people before he was turned in by a crazy black person and slaughtered 3 times. They murdered him, they shot him, they hung him, and they boiled him. I mean, they would make sure the brother was dead. But the bottom line is, in terms of the deductions being made, is that Rupert Murdoch used his huge vetting machine to find out about Nate Parker, to locate this controversy in his past, and to buy the film. He bought the rights. He paid, I forgot, 30 million or something. I forgot what it was, but he paid several $1 million to buy a racist man paid multi-million dollars to buy a film about a black freedom fighter who fought against white supremacy. That's already strange. So after he bought the film, he before the film was going to be released, he created controversy based on this incident that occurred over a decade in Nate Parker's past, and that the controversy eventually interrupted sales and interest in the film, and it was even up potentially up for an Oscar, and everything was destroyed. And that's considered something that was staged by Rupert Murdoch. Now it's being said that this whole thing that's happening with Jussie Smollett might have been staged by Rupert Murdoch also. In case you're not clear, Rupert Murdoch is very, very powerful. And when it comes to the media, he's three or four times more powerful than Donald Trump. He owns Fox. He owns a huge global media empire and a huge vetting investigatory machine. So people are saying that maybe there's some ties to Murdoch's treachery and Empire having the show on his property, and maybe he's behind this. I don't know. Obviously, I'm just talking about some actual facts in terms of Murdoch's behavior, what Murdoch has been fined for in Britain, and how powerful he is in terms of controlling the media and the global media narrative. Who knows? But anyway, I just want to come on here real quick and engage you live as opposed to just writing a bunch of stuff. I've already written some things. I wrote about the fact that this is going to totally destroy Smollett's career if indeed it's true. I see people writing laughing signs on the page here. This ain't funny. This is not funny. I mean, I don't see what, if you're black, Republican, or Democrat, I don't see where you would find this funny. But one thing that is peculiar, among other things, and I'm being repetitive to kind of reiterate this point, it's peculiar that somebody with fame and fortune, he's the most well-known, same-gender-loving, biracial black man in the Western world, so there was no need for him to do a publicity stunt. There were reports supposedly that he was going to be written off of the show Empire, but all Empire people say it's not true. That's not something that was happening at all. And this is bizarre. It's been bizarre the whole time. Some of the things that I was saying when I first heard about this, in response to some same-gender-loving skeptical people's response, for example, that don't nobody go out at 2 o'clock a.m. for a 12-inch, now this is a 12-inch body part. You know, all the jokes that came out. Well, I know for a fact, as someone who used to be a musician myself and who still knows a lot of famous people, that it's not unusual at all for a person to go out, who's famous, to go out at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, to be a human being and not be mobbed by people, to do something like that. And also the hours of actors and musicians are not the same hours as 9-to-5ers. It's not unusual. When I worked in the music field, it was normal for me to go out at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to get food and to be outside and mingle with the world and not worry about any kind of interference from people. But anyway, I'm not going to go on much longer, but let me see, there's some more comments. Let me start acknowledging people, and let me turn my phone the other way because I cannot read everybody's comments with the way I have the phone, so I got to turn it this way. Okay, Damien Schloming says, I mentioned elsewhere Trump is super big and well-connected and powerful in the reality show business. They stage stuff like this. Remember, now this is long. He wrote a very long. Remember how Tonya Harding greatly raised the visibility of figure skating and profits to her extreme personal, financial, and career detriment? He went on and on. That's enough for that. Hello, Chevy. Hello. Jeffrey Wiggins says, black people need to stay out of the media and entertainment industry and go into other careers. Well, one of the side effects of being black in a society, Jeffrey, is that often people want attention because they feel inadequate, insecure. A lot of black people do. And they feel like they really want to be seen as relevant. And the media is where people become instantly relevant, talent or not. So people are not going to back off being on white folks' media platform. People are going to jump on that because they know that most people will be watching. So I don't know if people are going to follow that advice, Jeffrey. Hello, John Carl. Hey, Adam, I see you. We have Chevy here. Aisha. Hello, Aisha. You talk about mental illness, and if indeed Jussie is not telling the truth, there's definitely some mental illness considerations to be talked about here. Mary Tyler Best says, I find it hard to believe, and until I hear they have solid evidence, I don't believe it. A lot of people are with you, Mary. A lot of people are having a hard time believing this. Hello, Omni Adesanya. How you doing, Diane Culberson? What's up, James Hatcher, Melissa Curry, Chris Mumbala, the Silhouette Snow is watching. Tabang Jacob Molala. A lot of people from Africa are watching this commentary. Aaron McIntyre, Elliot Morris, Lance Managua. What's up, fam? Randall Gary Blakely Jr., Isaiah Gould, Marsha Warfield is watching. Hello, Sister Warfield. Bonnie Harrison. Hello, Dr. Harrison. You're an honorary doctor in my book. Pretty Boy Suave Savon, Deborah Rice. Anyway, I like to acknowledge people because there's a lot more people. I think I would bore you if I read all the names. Brandon, Cartase, Justin. There's another comment here. Aaron McIntyre said, if he said he was attacked by a pack of homophobic N-words at a gas station, no one would have questioned anything. Well, ironically, it appears, if we listen to what's being said in the media, that he was attacked by two Africans. And the Africans who have some connection to the Empire set are apparently corroborating that they're connected to Smollett and they're quote unquote cooperating with the police. So I don't know what to make of this in terms of all of these elements add up to. But Chevy's asked me, do I believe it was staged? Honestly, I don't know what to believe. And let me tell you why. As I already said, the Chicago police are devout racist. They are known for killing black people, particularly black males, at their own interest. Some of these shootings that are happening in Chicago that are making it the high crime area and have the most black murders in the country, some of those people are being killed by police. So this is bizarre because the investigation of the Jussie Smollett incident is in the hand of racists who lie, who hide video, who make sure they don't have video cams on their cars. So what they do wrong, including murdering black people, there would be no evidence. So there are corrupt people who are in charge of the investigation of a man called Black, who is also a homosexual, who's high profile, who has said that he was physically attacked. So, hey, I'm quite perceptive, and when it comes to behavioral analysis, I'm one of the best people that I know. But this issue is too nuanced to come to any kind of finite conclusion. Because even how Jussie told the story, and that Jussie redacted his material from his phone, when you're a victim of a crime, you do what you can to give all evidence to make sure that the crime can be solved and that you receive justice. So I cannot give one of my famous clear analysis or clear projections, or what do you call it? I'm gonna think this word, I do it all the time. Predictions, I'm sorry, there's that word. I can't give any of my predictions on this because it's too complicated. It's not clean. Like, I was able to cleanly predict that Trump would become president. I did that on national television way before he became president. Somehow I'm out of focus. I predicted Obama would be president. I predicted that the murderer in Florida, who killed those people at that gay club in Florida, was a homosexual when everybody was calling him a member of the ISIS. And I said, no, that's a homosexual with some personal issues who went to the extreme to disassociate. And also he was a victim of racism apparently inside the gay community. And dealing with his own personal struggles and rage toward how he was treated, he went in and murdered almost 50 people. So I make that prediction. And there's been lots of predictions that I've made. It's frankly the risk of sounding obnoxious. The majority of my predictions, because they're really deductions based on logic, tend to be true. But this one, I can't find any logic. I cannot find any logic behind why a famous, paid, black, same-loving, black biracial person would make up something for attention. They already have attention. This person also, I found out later, because I don't really follow Smollett. Matter of fact, I don't follow him. So I found out later that he called Donald Trump in a Instagram message he called him the N-word, and he used some type of common popular culture slang to describe the president of the United States on Instagram. A high-profile person did this, and that's another reason why when I saw that, I was like, okay, wait a minute. See, Trump and these white supremacists have power, they have resources, they have unlimited capacity. Rupert Murdoch is among these people in terms of philosophy. They could have done something to Jussie Smollett. They've killed Sam Cooke. They killed Prince, in my opinion. They killed a lot of people. And I even have a very close friend named Lee, who used to be an actor on TV, who I knew well, who was found dead with a bullet in his head where they claimed he committed suicide. Lee Thompson did not commit suicide. He was not. Anyway, I'm all over the place, but I'm not all over the place when it gets to the central theme here, which is the media, white supremacists with power, cannot be trusted. And they have endless power, and they have the capacity to do things that we could never think of on a microscopic level and on a macro level to end people's lives or to cause people to have nervous situations or health issues that result in the compromise of their mobility and ultimately their death. They have that capacity and they've done it. So I don't know what to believe. But I guess we'll hear from Jussie, and we will all know at some point. I'll read some more of these comments and I'll prepare to end soon. There's so many of them. Yeah, Ben just mentioned that Jussie's tweet made him look immature. It did. It made him look real strange. And Chris Chaya said, I'm withholding judgment till everything comes to light. I will say I don't trust the Chicago Police Department, though. I'm with you, sister. I completely agree. Yeah, more people are just affirming what I said and just joining us. But anyway, before I go, any questions? Any questions to me about anything? Thank you for the love. Thank you for the hearts. Some of you are so kind and so sweet. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate you joining me at the Sky Blue in the middle of the night. I was in the bed. And then suddenly my phone and my computer was going bing, bong, bing. What's going on? Then I heard about the news. I've also sent information to Roland Martin to find out what his take is on this. I'm sure it'll be on his show this coming Monday. I hope I'm there. I don't know who's booked. No, I'm not, I won't be on the show Monday. But Kim Abrams said his fam hasn't shown any support. And people said they've been waiting to hear my thoughts. Well, here they are, Sister Melissa. And now, soon to be Dr. Letitia Sampson is on. Anyway, like I said, before I go, is there any questions? Okay, then I'll summarize. I'm into summarizing things. This is my summary. When I first heard about Mr. Smollett's event, it was so shocking that I didn't know what to believe. It was hard to believe that somebody with fame and fortune would make up a story to get attention when they already have the world's attention. So I had a difficult time believing Malik Abdul's counter perspective when he said he didn't believe it. I was like, why would somebody with fame and fortune do something like this? And this is when the story first hit. Then as time went on, things did sound really, really sketchy and strange. But again, we're depending on the United States white racist press to tell the story. And the only perpetual media level personality from a black perspective talking about it is Roland Martin. I don't know why this thing went out of focus, y'all. I'm back. And so we're not hearing any real objective perspective on this from the media because the media is involved in the MAGA agenda. Trust me, Make America Great agenda. No matter how they look at how liberal you think they are, most of them are involved in the agenda. So, yeah, at some level of the spectrum, high industrial strength or light versions of it so they won't look like they're a part of it. So I've been watching this, and today I heard about the two suspects being questioned being black and not white dudes who attacked him. So that got my attention. And I agree with you, Letitia. Though I didn't know what to believe regarding whether he did it or not, him calling himself the gay Tupac was like, that's reaching. But I've since heard that Tupac had gotten beaten up and survived it, and that's what he was cross-referencing. And I didn't know anything about that incident, so I didn't know when I had questions what he was talking about. So apparently, that's what he was associating himself with. But anyway, the other day, a friend of mine named Trent here on social media asked me, "Is Jussie lying?" And I went from how I felt at first, with no information except for the report, to looking at all the nuances and all the things that have occurred since, including the Nigerian brothers, who have since been questioned. But I don't know. I don't know what is true. But we will all find out, and no doubt Jussie is real informed about CNN. And let me tell you about CNN. I know, or used to know, people who work at CNN, and CNN is, racist. It's light racist compared to Fox, but they have a whole look and a whole agenda in terms of who they do and do not allow on their television, and they control the narrative very much so, and it's not controlled on behalf of black people at all. And they are a white-run, white-affirming institution, but they do not do things that will shoot themselves in the foot. They have a vetting machine that is almost as sizable as Rupert Murdoch's. And it might even be connected to Rupert Murdoch's, who knows. But the bottom line is that they wouldn't have said something about the Chicago police questioning Smollett and saying that this thing was staged if they didn't believe that it had some truth. They do not want no drama. So it don't look good for Jussie, but we will all find out what's going on by tomorrow. And as I said before, if Jussie's not telling the truth, he could literally go to jail, because this is a class 4 felony, given a fake report. And he did it to a corrupt police system in Chicago who would love to make somebody into an example. But he also is rich and has money. I think he already hired some high-powered attorney. So they might help him to, if indeed it's not true. See, I still have to say that, again, because of who the sources are telling us this. All white, affirming, white-agendaed sources, the mass media in this country. One more thing I'll say, and don't think that I'm believing him or not when I say this. I'm talking about deductions and elements here. People were saying, well, how would they know that it was Jussie Smollett in the middle of the night in 0-degree weather and he's all bundled up? Well, I'm no Jussie Smollett. I'm not world famous on that level, but I have been, I'm forgetting basic words tonight because I was asleep when I did this. Stalked. There it is. That's the word. I have been stalked before. And if a stalker is stalking you and they spend days studying your behavior and studying your tracks, no matter what you wear, because they studied you, they're going to know it's you. Because they usually spend days watching and figuring out who you are and what you do. So do not fall for this whole thing about him being bundled up and how could they do it. If indeed somebody wanted to attack you and they were stalking you, what you wear will be irrelevant because they know your style. They know when you walk out the door, they know what you do. And if they know that you go out at 2 o'clock in the morning, they'll be ready for you at 2 o'clock in the morning. So you got to find another cynical counter theory other than that to prove that Jussie is making this up. Anyway, Chris Davis says, I've been assaulted before, this person identifies as LGBT. This is not a freaking game. You're right. It's not. And let's hope, against hope at this point, that Jussie comes in swinging with some way to validate that he was telling the truth. However, that CNN has chimed in, he's going to have to be profoundly powerful in his deflection of this narrative for people to believe him. And either he's going to become invisible in a scandal, or he's going to become empowered and made into a hero. We will see. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Like about 100 of you or so joined while I'm running my mouth. I'm glad you all had interest in what I had to say, and I definitely was interested in your feedback as well. So thank you. Hello, Roger. How you doing? Good to see you. Always good to see you. But you came near the end. Aisha Jones, she's from California. She writes, this reminds me of an incident in a movie called License to Kill, in which a man who was biracial in Seattle killed several homosexual men in the park. I don't do that word gay. He was on a task force to help close down the park because of it being a cruising site. He was one who was doing killings in the park of homosexual men. His twisted logic was if the park was closed, he wouldn't have a place to cruise. He was quite conflicted about his sexuality, and in his twisted logic, he did what he did. Little Barry, replying to Kim Abrams, says, yes, all of his siblings came together to show support on Instagram. Well, Letitia said he would not be a hero. I'm talking about among black folks. I'm not talking about among the general public. I'm talking about among black folks. He would be a hero if he found a way to convince us based on some facts and some real hardcore evidence that indeed he did tell the truth and that the Chicago Police Department is being corrupt again. But again, what brings question for me into that is CNN. CNN has a huge vetting machine, and they do not like being controversial and not being able to back up what they say. So, but they got the information from the Chicago Police Department. Well, Letitia, what I'm saying is, if he is found to be telling the truth, he will indeed be a hero. He would not be a hero to nobody if he lied, and he would lose his show and wind up make difficult for him to get a job anywhere. Ben Ogorji mentioned that he didn't know that I had an issue with the word gay. I don't have an issue calling white folks gay because it's their construct. They created it. They made it up. They own it. They the ones who benefit from it. Black people don't benefit that construct at all. And it's a racist construct developed by the homosexual realm of white supremacist situations and machinery. And I can go into the facts of that matter as well, but that's not what this is about, so that would be a tangent. But I was just responding to Letitia's comments and Ben asking why I don't do gay, not for black folks. And that's a whole nother topic. Well, anyway, not unless somebody else has something to say. Yeah, it is sad, Letitia, particularly if he is lying. All we have now is opticals, rhetoric, perspective, deductions. Jussie, interesting way that they named him as opposed to Jussie. Anyway, Jussie will have to confess if indeed it's not true. He will have no choice. And if indeed it's not true, he's going to probably do an industrial strength apology, but there's no way he will be able to amend and atone for this, if indeed it's not true what he reports. Anyway, all, I'm going to finish rambling and leave. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for joining me. As I ramp up for my book to come out, I'll be doing more of these videos. I don't like doing them, which is why you rarely see them. And I'm going to stop saying I don't like doing them because I'm putting out negative energy. And I'm going to be doing more of them. So anyway, future Dr. Letitia Sampson, leave me alone, okay? I love you and I don't care who knows. Is that it? Thank you, Ken Bright, for coming on. Thank you all for joining me and listening to me run my mouth. Hello, Michael. See, I'm trying to say good night, but more of you keep joining and you keep making comments, and I think it's important to acknowledge people who do this. Ben, the name of my book is in process right now. There's been several names, but the reason that it's taken me so long to release my book is because this book is the most important project of my entire life, and it must be done right. In this crazy society, in the Trump era, etc. So I'm taking my time to plan the release properly and to name it properly. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you for listening. And it's coming, Letitia. Like I said, leave me alone, woman. That's my girl, woman. I don't want to be sexist, but black people say girl sometimes as an affectionate term. We also say boy as an affectionate term inside of our community. In case you're outside the community and watching this and want to get on my case for calling a grown woman girl. That's my girlfriend. Anyway, why does this thing keep going out of focus? See, that's Rupert Murdoch. See how racism is? They taking my phone out of focus every now and then. That don't make no sense. Anyway, stop bragging, future Dr. Letitia Sampson. I swear. Thank you all. I'm really going to leave now. Hello, Reginald. Who am I going to finally say goodbye to before I leave? Cheryl, Poe. I don't say boo. I ain't scaring no ghosts. I'm trying to act like no ghost. So Kim Abrams, I don't call folks boo. That's what you say when you want to scare somebody and you're trying to imitate a ghost. I don't play that. I'm grown. Grown folks don't call nobody no dang boo. Anyway, I'm out of here. Good night, future Dr. Letitia Sampson. Good night, everyone. Thank you for watching. Blessings, peace. Rupert Murdoch needs to stop doing this unfocusing on my phone. This ain't right. Oh, he's letting it sustain this time. There we are. Okay. Love to those I love. Like to those I like. Healing to those who need it. Be well. I'm out. Thanks for watching.